Today, I want to talk about my process of creating dragon fruit hybrid KXT. KXT refers to Cassie Van Aroon crossed with Trisha. I have been doing this process for about 4 years now. It started from the pollination. I have been recording all along for a little bit of a progress along the year. But for people who are not following my channel and just watch 1 or 2 episodes, it's hard for them to grab the whole process. So now it's a winter time. I don't have much to do, so I want to just use this time to make a summary of this process for people who also want to create their own hybrid, to have a little better understanding how this process is doing and what kind of output can be expected. We're going to start from the planning. For planning is what you're going to use for the father, what you're going to use for the mother. For me, I choose the Cassie Van Rune as mother because they have very beautiful flowers and their fruit tastes are the best. They are the only one in my whole 20 variety collections have the consistent have the Brix reading above 20. It's very, very frequent. Have the lychee kind of smell, so I like it a lot. But the plant is a little vulnerable to a lot of molding or anything. So it's a very fragile plant. And the Tricia has a very beautiful flower also, and their fruit can be as big as over a pound. Although the size are variable, sometimes smaller, but the biggest one is quite big, over a pound. And they also have the beautiful red color in their flesh, and the reds representing the antioxidant content. So choosing these two, I was hoping to get the hybrid has a beautiful flower, the pink flower like a Cassivana room, and the sweetness of Cassivana room, but have large fruit size as Tricia, and it has a red flash color. So I just used the Tricia's pollinate Casey Vanna room and growing the seeds from this fruit. When I'm talking about making hybrid, I want to show a little simple genetics to better understand what to expecting for the outcome. So here representing a cell of a Casey Vanna room. For dragon fruit, they have 11 pair of chromosomes, and here I'm only representing one pair of chromosome. In each cell, they have 11 of this kind of pair. So I'm just want to show one pair as example. KC Vanna Rune is a cell sterile type dragon fruit. So that means they have to be pollinated by pollen from different variety to set fruit. That means this pair of chromosome somehow is different. So this chromosome come from the mother and this chromosome come from the father. They are a little bit different. So when they form ovules, each chromosome will going into one germ cell. Same as a Tricia. Tricia also are self-stereotype. So these pair of chromosomes are a little different. And in the pollen, and some pollen will have this chromosome, and some other pollen will have this chromosome. When these two cross, and you can see they have 4 different possibility of the chromosome combination. The red combined with the green, or combined with the blue. Also the yellow one can combine with the green or combine with blue. So that's one pair chromosome will have 4 different variable hybrids. And imagine if you have 11 this type of chromosome, the variation in the hybrid is enormous. That's why you have to grow up a lot of hybrids in order to get to select the one that have the best feature you are hoping for. If you only grow 1 or 2 hybrid, you may get this one, or you may get this one. If you're lucky, you get the perfect one, but if you are not lucky, you get the worst of the combination. So you have to grow up quite a few hybrid to get what you're hoping for. This chromosome, they have a lot of genes on there. For each gene, they also have the dominant gene or recessive gene. For dominant gene, as long as you have one copy, you'll have the phenotype of that copy. So it's a very simple, straightforward. And for recessive genes, and if you have just one copy in the cells and you have no expression of these genes, they only have both copy have exactly the same one to have its expression. Besides the dominant or recessive type of genes, they also have multi-genes. Any feature not come from just one gene is combined several genes reaction to get that phenotype. In hybrid, you could get just one gene or two gene or all three, such as the color of the flower. They could be very weak pink color to very strong color, so it has a spectrum of the color, or with the sweetness of the fruit. They could be slightly sweet or very sweet. So all these genes, like color genes and sugar content genes, could be multi-genes. So it's not dependent on just you get a copy or you don't get copy. It's dependent on which copy and how the combination of the copy you get. So that makes things much more complicated than just dominant or recessive. Beside these three, and also have the modification genes. These genes do not have any product like a color or pigment or sugar, but control the genes, the dominant gene or recessive gene expression. So even you get the dominant gene, get this one, but if you also inherit modification gene, and that gene inhibit the dominant gene expression, so even you get the gene, it still have no expression. That's why the modification gene make another level of complexity on the hybrid production. And besides that, and also have environmental factors. These factors don't change the genotype, they can change the phenotype, such as that if the fruit growing in the normal situation is very sweet, but if we have a raining season, the rain probably diluted the sugar content, it will be less sweet. So this environmental factor can also affect on how the hybrid tastes like and looks like. So all these factors, this is very, very simple expression. And the reality is much more complicated than this, because each pair of chromosome already have so many variations. Imagine they have 11 pair of these chromosomes. So making hybrid is not a simple cross it and get your best. Creating hybrid is a lot of work. After understand the simple genetics, the next step is growing the seedlings. A lot of other people already show that growing seedlings is very long process. If you grab the seedlings, they will take off much faster than growing from the seedling alone. But to graft seedlings, the seedling had to be certain size to be grafted. And at least this kind of seedlings they can graft. Otherwise, anything smaller than this is very hard to grab. And seedling growing is a very long process, like from just a germination of seedlings to the seedlings big enough to graft had to pass at least 3 months. So I'm very impatient. So when the seedlings this stage, I started thinking, if I have to grab them anyway, and I have so many seedlings, what's the best, easiest way to grab seedlings? It's much earlier than this stage. Then I come up this first attempt for toothpick grafting. The toothpick grafting is for seedlings really small. They did not even have the true cactus stem yet. For this early grafting, the problem is how to anchor the tiny little seedlings on the rootstock. I tried many other ways, but I found this toothpick one is the easiest. And you just use the toothpick, create a little hole in the rootstock. And for the seedlings, you get angle cut on the stem of the seedlings. So expose more of the seedling's tissue and then put the seedling into the hole. That's about it. And you put a clean plastic bag over the grafting sites to keep the seedling moisture. Eventually, they will grow. For this message, people asking, why don't you graft seedling into the camping layer? At the beginning, I didn't even think about the camping layer. I see I had a lot of room here, I just put it there, that they grow. So it seems like a camping layer is not really that important in the successful grafting. As soon as the seedlings have the good connections to the rootstock, they can establish connection. And here is example of grafting seedlings in a different time to show the growth. The seedling actually started around September. You can see after about months, the seedlings are survived. They're still green, but have very, very little growth. And about another month, you can see the little growing from these seedlings. Before I was worried that it's going to be survive or not, but here you can clearly see the growth from these seedlings. And after another month, you can see that for some reason, the three seedlings on this surface, only one seems taking off. The other two are kind of shrink away, even though they show some sign of growth, but it seems like each rootstock only support one healthy seedling growing. And you can see the same seedlings start to growing bigger and start growing bigger. You can see the timeline and everything. And here you can see the seedlings go all the way to the top of the trellis. So this message does works. The critical point is don't make a hole too big. If the hole too big, the seedlings don't have a chance to contact to the tissue on the rootstock. They won't have a connection. And also, you can scratch the stem of the seedlings to create more exposed tissue to enhance this tissue to tissue connection. Spray the whole surface with alcohol, thoroughly disinfect the seedlings and the rootstock to preventing fungal or bacterial infection. And besides that, you just wait and to watch them grow. This is a proved working methods for grafting very small seedlings. The second grafting methods I created during this process is not really a different way to grafting, but where to graft it. I found that if you graft the seedlings on the trellis top, on the established dragon fruit, the seedling can save a lot of time to grow up the trellis because it's already on the trellis. And once the seedling grow up, they tend to have a lot of multi-stem bud coming out like this. Normally, you have to pinch up all the seedling buds to leave one continue grow to the top of the trellis. But if the seedlings already grow up on the trellis, they will you can let as many as the stems growing from the grafting point, and they will form naturally form the coming down from this umbrella effect. This can make the seedlings to start to fruit 3 to 4 months earlier. So it's a very useful message to make the seedlings growing faster. Next, I'm going to show the timing of the dragon fruit hybrid creation. In my KXT hybrid is pollinated in July 2020. That's the very beginning of the process of the creating this hybrid. September, 2 months later, I got the fruit and I planted seeds. 1 month after planted seeds, I did the toothpick grafting. Then, because it's already October, now it's a long winter, and I didn't do anything. Just try different way of toothpick grafting methods. Not until like May next year, 2021, the first trial of Trader's top grafting. So you can see that almost a half year later of Trader's top grafting, and my first flower and fruit setting is from the Trader's top grafting. So this one had fruit even earlier than the toothpick grafting. The very first flower was a pink. It's very, very pretty, and I was so happy about it. But once I see the fruit from this flower, they are totally white. It's a completely white flesh, and the outside is green. Even I didn't pick them until they are like 50 to 60 days on the branch. They never, the fruit never turned color, so it's completely white. At that time, I thought, oh, that's really strange. And then almost about same time, the second fruit start to have flower. This is from the very first toothpick grafted seedlings, and the flower is white flower. Even the outskirt of the flower looks very similar to a tricia. But the fruit is almost like tricia also has a red flesh and a red outside. The Brix number for this one is very high. It's like a 20 or 21. It's very, very sweet. And if it's everything just like tricia never be this sweet. This sweetness is come from KC Van Arun, but everything else seems to come from tricia. I call all my hybrid is KXT. When they have a red flower and white flesh, I'll call the RW. This is the first one. And then they have white flower and red fruit, and I call the WR1. The third hybrid that have fruit is a RW. It's a red flower and white flesh, almost the same as the very first fruit, although the flowers look a little bit different. But the second one get the same white flesh is really strange. The fourth one from this year I got is have similar to the WR, I call it WR2, and also have white flower, but the flower is a little different from that one. This one almost have no anther, and this anther is very long. Have a lot of pollens. They also very red inside, but the outside is not as red as this one, so a little bit different. And this one is not as sweet as the WR1. And then the next hybrid start to have flower and fruit is next year, as this year on May of 2023. And this is also a white flower and red flesh. And after that, I get a surprise. This one is KXTRR. It have red flower and red fruit. You can see the flower is almost as pretty as all the other red flower. And the fruit is very big. The first one is 1 pound, exactly 1 pound. And very beautiful fruit color. And the taste, this one breaks in 19. The flesh is a little firm. It's like a cherry type of flavor. And later on this year, August this year, I got second fruit from this the same hybrid plant. And at that time, the fruit is a little bit smaller, maybe 2-3 ounces smaller. But the Brix number is 21. It's very sweet. It is my very best hybrid from this process. And then after that, I have a seventh hybrid have fruited. They have a very light pink flower and also white flesh again, and a green skin. It's from here you can see that I grow up 7 different hybrids. 4 of them have red flower and 3 of them have white flesh, and 3 of them have white flower and a red flesh. So even though the outcome is little surprise, I don't know why this has 3 of them the fruit has no color at all. Some people call it albino. Albino gene in animal kingdom is a recessive gene. Both parents have to be carrier, means they carry 1 copy of that gene. Both transmit to the offspring to have the albino phenotype shown. In this case, I think maybe KC Van Arun and Tricia both carry an albino gene. That's why so many of the offspring have the albino fruit. But albino is recessive, so you're only expecting 25% of the offspring have the albino phenotype. And this one is almost like a 50% have the albino gene. This is really very strange. I can't explain it. For me, I don't really care about the genetics because I only want to create the hybrid I want to have, which is this one with a KXTRR. They have the beautiful flower, beautiful fruit, large fruit, and a high break rating. That's everything I was hoping for, except the lychee fragrance from Cassie Vanneroon. It did not show here, and they did not show on any of my hybrid. I think that the lychee fragrance in Casey Vanneroon probably is a recessive gene, and because Trisha doesn't have that gene, so in order to have that the lychee taste, I had to do a back cross using this one back cross to parents in order for the recessive gene to come together to create the phenotype. But I don't really want to do that anymore because it's too much work. For me now, this one is perfect. I'm really happy. So this is about the whole process from year 2020, year 2021, the whole year 2021, basically just growing of the seedlings, and 2022 and 2023. So 4 years of the process to get one ideal, almost ideal hybrid. It's a very good result, very good outcome. So I'm very happy about this, and that's why I want to make a summary of this whole process to keep a record. And that's about it. It's a lot of work, a lot of waiting, but the result is a pretty happy ending. So that's a really long recording. I'll stop here. Thank you very much for watching.